So there's a standard way to do this question. So we know that the sum to the kth term would be just replacing n with k. And we also know the term prior to k is t sub k minus 1. Now we can also find the sum, this portion from 1 to the k minus 1th term, by simply replacing k, or I should say n, with k minus 1. And now all I have to do is to replace that with this, or in other words, t sub k would be that sum minus this. So this is kind of the standard setup for these questions, and you should definitely know where it comes from and why that is the case. I think I've seen a few other questions in that format. So essentially s sub k minus s sub k minus 1, summation to the kth term and k minus 1. So you just have to do an algebra here. The 13 would drop out. You'll have k square minus k minus 1 square plus 9 times k minus 1. So here I can use difference of squares identity. So k plus k minus 1. And then k minus 1, same as this piece. And you'll see if you distribute the minus, the k terms would drop out. That would just become 9. And this is also 1. So I end up with 2 times 2k minus 1 plus 9. I distribute the 2. And I get the expression for the kth term. That's exactly what they give you. So we can figure out what k is from doing this computation. 103 minus 7, which is 96. So k is 96 over 4, which is 24. And that's the answer. Now, there is a problem with this question. In the next minute, I'll just explain what I don't like about this question and why it's not written properly. So what you'll find is that if that our kth term is 4k plus 7, that means it's going back, the common difference is 4. So if you go back 103, then 99, and then 95, so on and so forth, and if we find the first term, which would be 103, so I'm going backward. So this would be n minus 1, so that would be 24 minus 1. So 2, 1, 92, so that would be 11. That means the first term is 11, second term is 15. If I plug in n equal to 2 in that formula, it should work. And you'll see it doesn't. So 2 square, 9 times 2 plus 13. That's 8. 18, that's 26 plus 13. And you'll see these two add up to 26. So that 13 part is the problem. So this question actually should have been phrased. And I think, I don't know, unless I'm missing something, this is not written properly in my opinion. That's how it should be. I think I understand why they introduced that 13, so you couldn't, I guess, because with that, actually, if you just, even though they say n is greater than or equal to 2, this should work for n equal to 1, which you would see would gives you 11. If you do t1 plus t2, n is 2, you will get this value 26. So the next term would be 15. And I guess they wanted to prevent students from doing this and getting to 103 and figuring out its position. But, you know, this isn't consistent with the question. That 13 doesn't belong there. And they've kind of jammed it. So the question is actually not consistent. At least this is how I see it. Perhaps someone else can make a comment and tell me if I'm missing something. So in my opinion, this question isn't written properly. Not something I would expect from the CAT test writers, but there are times that they are sloppy. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I think if you were trying to do that in the exam, and I think I also tried to do that, T1 plus T2, and then you get 39, and if you do 3, it's just not, it's not consistent. So I think that's an issue I have with this question. But I think this is what the test writers wanted you to do, and be on the lookout for these questions. I think there's another one I saw in recent CATs where they give you formula for the summation, and then they're asking you to find either a specific term, or in this case, it was the position. So just make sure you understand this method, why it is this way. So to summarize, the answer is 24.